Today, we're going to cover the election results from yesterday, March 10th. Only a few states here. We've got Georgia, Mississippi, and one special election in New Hampshire. So this should be pretty quick, but next week we've got one primary. That's going to be in Illinois. The goal is to do another stream for that day, so hopefully it happens. But let's start here on New York Times. We've got the special election in Georgia. This is in the U.S. House to replace Marjorie Taylor Greene. So she resigned early, and somebody's got to fill the remainder of that term. So it's a super red district. It's located in the northwestern part of the state, and this is pretty much a jungle primary. All candidates from both parties are on one ballot. If nobody hits 50%, there's going to be a runoff. That's exactly what happened. It's extremely crowded here. The Dems mostly consolidated here behind Sean Harris. Now, he ran against Green a couple of years ago. We'll come back to that in a minute. Second place is Trump-endorsed Clayton Fuller. Both of them are going to face off in about a month. But you can see nobody even got 40% here. Harris, the lone Democrat, is at 37.3. Fuller is at about 35. Now, there's far more Republicans on here than Democrats. If you add up what all the Democrats got, you've got another one here at about 1%. Then you've got another one here at about 1.5%. So we're looking at about 40% for the Dems. Almost all the rest is Republican, but you've got a little bit of Libertarian here as well as Independent. So close to about a 60-40 split there. So what was the result here back in 24 in the last election? Well, here's Green. She won it with 64.4. Harris is at 35.6. It is worse than what Trump got. Trump pulled in about 68% of the vote, so Green ran behind Trump, but still a strong Republican district with about a 29-point advantage. But we just saw in that primary, it might only come out to about 20%, but we'll have to see what happens in the runoff. It could be even lower. Very unlikely for Dems to actually flip it. But if we get out of the special election page on Wikipedia, Dems have consistently found themselves overperforming in these special elections. Now, the one word of caution for the Dems is we saw the same thing prior to 2024. They overperformed, and when election day rolled around, Republicans had a surge and they won most of the key races. So I think almost nobody is expecting the Dems to actually win this thing. But if they got it down to around 10%, that would still be a pretty big swing. And if a deep red district like this can get down to 10%, that means anything much closer could easily flip. So that's what we've got here in Georgia. Let's move on to Mississippi. Not a lot of action here, but we do have the U.S. Senate race. Republican Cindy Hyde-Smith is running for re-election. Not all the vote is in right now, but she easily cruised in her primary. She's over 80%. So who's she going to face in the general election? Well, that's going to be Democrat Scott Kalam. He also cruised with 73%. Now you can see down here, total Dems got 137,000 votes and Republicans got 151,000. The percentages aren't exactly the same, but Mississippi is regarded as a fairly red state, and I don't put a lot of weight on primary numbers. But back when Hyde-Smith won her last race in 2020, she won by only about 10%. So 10% is comfortable, but not extremely comfortable, especially if it's a blue-leaning environment. So this thing could get down to single digits. We'll see what happens. Now the only other race in this state was in the 2nd district. There's 4 districts in this state. This is the deep blue one. And long-timer Benny Thompson, he also cruised in his primary. He got 86% of the vote to a challenger who pulled in about 13. So not much to look at here in Mississippi. But there was a special election in New Hampshire. It's a state house race. And these results here on New York Times, for some reason, did not update. It's stuck at 46%. And it looks like the Republican is ahead by about 6%. Well, for a little comparison, let's go back to the last time this race was up. It was in 2024. And here's the results right here. The Republican won by 14%. But if we look at the actual final results that came in, we've got another upset here. The Dems have flipped this seat. Republicans have lost it. And the results here are 51% for the Dem, Republicans at 47. And it says Republicans won it by 13% just 16 months ago. So another pickup there for the Dems in a local state house race. So what does all this mean? It means that Republicans have really got to get it together for November. If they don't, they could be looking at a pretty monster blue wave. But even if they do get it together, that's still likely to just minimize the damage. It's not going to have them make any significant gains. Dems are motivated to turn out. They're excited about these results, as they should be. However, as I said earlier, we saw similar leading up to 24. Dems overperformed, but then in the actual election, didn't really pan out that much. So special elections, polling, registration data, endorsements, all that stuff matters to some degree. But sometimes it doesn't really tell you everything you need to know about the actual election. So with everything we've seen, it is tough to bet against the Dems having a nice night in November. Republicans, they've got time to do something to turn it around a little bit. But for now, that's a recap of the March 10th election results. So let me know in the comments. What do you think about anything in Georgia, Mississippi, or here in New Hampshire? Let me know what you're taking a look at down below on your way out. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Join if you'd like to support the channel. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.